They only have 2 or 3 bikes, but they're Honda ST1300s.
Finish explaining to me, because if you're not a security company, and you're not, correct?
Correct.
Have you ever been licensed to be a security company?
Once upon a time.
So you did have a security company, a licensed security company.
When you say me,
you.
No, I didn't.
Okay. So, well, let me back up. Have you ever been in law enforcement?
How would you ask if I was in law enforcement?
Have you ever been a law enforcement
I've
officer?
never been a police officer.
Okay.
Have you ever been in the military?
I have.
You were in what branch?
Army.
The Army. When were you in the Army?
I wasn't actually in the Army. I was actually certified and trained, and then I
No,
did private details.
No, what I'm asking you, have you ever been in
Never
the United
swore
States
into the United
military?
States Army.
You were
However,
never
the
sworn
United
into
States
the
Army
military.
trained me, and then the details that I do.
But that doesn't make you in the
You're
military.
right. Okay.
Okay,
So wait, so you're a contractor for the government? That would be the only way.
I was a contractor.
All right, because I'm retired from the military, so
Okay.
that's why I did intel, so I kind of know about a lot of the
Great court.
top secret clearance stuff.
Never had top secret clearance because I was a nobody and I was a felon.
Okay,
But I do know that I did my times, and I did my times overseas,
Where at?
just where I met my wife in Egypt and things like that nature.
So you worked for the federal government?
Never
overseas?
worked for the federal government. I worked for a
the
private
Army.
company.
So
Never in the Army.
like who did you work for then?
I worked for private companies that contracted us to do things overseas.
Yeah, give me a name of the company.
I worked for
Blackwater?
no, never worked for Blackwater.
There's Blackwater, there's Black Op. Did you work for Black Op?
No, I never worked for Black Op. Never worked for Triple Canopy. Never. It was not Dyna Group either. Dynacorp. I don't even remember. I went overseas for Egypt, worked over there, and worked with them, and
With Egypt.
that is correct.
Who was the contractor in Egypt?
It was U.S. protection. No, it wasn't. I don't remember.
Okay.
It was in 2004. So
What'd you do?
I just was overseas.
So somebody trained you to do something to
I was
go
a nobody
overseas.
corporal.
If you were a nobody, then what did you do? You didn't have a clearance, so it's not like you
You're
can't
right.
tell me about it.
It's okay, Corp.
Jeremy, I want you to look at
what
this
is the
thing on one
purpose-
second.
Sure, sorry.
I want to...
What is the purpose of wearing the gun belt?
So
I was going to get in that right here.
Sure.
Jeremy, I want you to look at this video. This was the day that I was out with you.
Right.
And I want you to tell me,
Uh-huh.
okay, let's look at this here real
Sure.
quick. Okay, again, this is from the angle that people would see, okay?
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to play it right here. Hang on 1 second. Right. Okay, we'll start playing it here. Okay, this is your vehicle you're driving.
Correct.
Now watch these lights. You tell me when you see red and blue. I can see it already. Let me back up.
We don't have red and blue.
I understand that, but what's based on the angle that a vehicle is passing you or anybody's passing you, with the combination of the purple and the amber lights that you have installed on your vehicle, it portrays an image of blue and red. Okay, and I'm going to play the whole video for you, and you'll be able to see it throughout the video. Red, red, blue, red, red, blue. See that red, blue?
That's funny you say that, Sergeant, because I remember when Corporal Ramsey and me were standing in court, and the judge said, "Will you please just put amber into the lights for me?" I said, "Your Honor,
I'm just showing you because this is what...
No, but when purple and amber are together, it kind of doesn't look good.
It doesn't look good. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
You know what's funny is you can pull those court records, and you can get where I said to the judge, "Your Honor, I don't think that's a good idea." And the judge said, "Will you please just do that for me?" And I was like, "Sure, Your Honor."
Okay, well, I'm talking about right now. What I'm talking about is 2019. Okay, 2019.
Sergeant,
when we look at this video, you
this
can
point,
clearly see, yes or no, that it's blue and red.
No, Sergeant. They're purple
I
and
understand,
orange.
but when they're flashing, you can see the red and blue because I can see it.
Here,
Sergeant,
look at this for me.
purple and orange.
What are on your saddlebags? What do those colors look like?
Purple and orange.
That looks like. What do you think that looks like on the saddlebags right there?
That's red and blue right there.
That looks
That's
like red and blue.
red and blue.
Okay. No,
To me, that's just to me. No, Jeremy, I'm not going after. What I'm trying to tell you is, with the combination, this is why the state law is amber or purple.
I understand, Sergeant.
Okay, because when they're flashing together,
Sure. Well,
to the
Sergeant,
lame person, it appears blue and red.
Can I say this then?
Yeah.
I can tell you that as a business owner, after the sheriff's office asked me to put orange in, along with the judge from Orange County.
Told you about amber, not orange.
Orange, amber. It's the same thing.
The suggestion was to pick one or the other.
No, that's not what the judge suggested. And if you pull back those transcripts, Corporal, you'll hear that.
Okay.
And I'm sure if you want, you can contact my lawyer, Amir, and he'll tell you the same thing, and we can pull it for you.
Yeah, it's the same lawyer that you had then. Of
course,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So the judge said, please just put in some amber with your purple. And we did what the judge asked. And here's the thing, Corporal, Sergeant. I'm a business owner, and I invested thousands of dollars to do that. I'm not going to change that after a judge and your legal division at the sheriff's office advised me to do it. So until I have a new order from the sheriff's office, with all due respect, I really, not trying to blow smoke up anyone's ass, whether you laugh at it or not later, I really meant what I was saying about you, Sergeant. I was very impressed the other day how you handled yourself and how professional you are, and I really appreciate that.
No
so
problem.
with all due respect, and Corporal, you're just as good. I don't think I'm not giving you anything here. But at the end of the day, until, with all due respect, somebody above tells me or sends me a letter saying,
I agree.
hey, the judge's order that gave you the order saying put orange with
Do you
your
have that
purple.
order?
I'm sorry?
Do you have that order?
Which order?
The judge's
Judges?
order. Yeah.
It's verbal order in court.
Well, yeah, but to be legal, it has to be written. It actually has to be an order.
I just did what the judge asked me, Sergeant. So we can pull the transcripts if you like. You guys have access to that.
So my next question is,
Yes,
go back. I'm trying to figure out, and we've talked about this before, and
Sure.
I've never gotten a clear answer.
Here, I'll show you the picture.
I'm trying to figure out why you wear a gun belt with handcuffs and asp.
We don't have to wear the handcuffs if you don't want, Corporal.
No, I'm
Why
asking
I can
do
tell
you?
my guys
why.
to take those out.
I'm asking why you wear a radio that doesn't work. Why do you wear an asp that only has the handle, not the rest of it?
Right.
Why do you wear with the pepper spray, the can of pepper spray? Why do you wear a gun and a holster?
Right. Yeah. No, you don't have to show me. I know what.
Oh, okay.
So,
I'm trying to figure out why you wear all that.
for the professional appearance.
Okay, but what professional appearance? If all you're doing is escorting, what is that? What's the difference of just being on a motorcycle with all those lights? Why do you implement the gun belt to go along with that? That's not even
And vest and the bulletproof vest.
Oh, yeah.
Well, anytime I'm in, whether, no matter what, and you guys should agree with that, if I'm in any type of uniform, for my protection, I should have a vest on at any time. So,
Well, you would wear a vest because
I'm sorry, this is probably one of you guys.
Probably us.
Metro State. Hello? Oh, maybe it doesn't. It says private number, and the only time I get a private number is some detective, usually.
It's on us. Well, it could be.
But we're working him trying to break into the tow truck that nobody arrested him for, beating the woman that nobody arrested him for, the guy that we were renting the property from.
Trying to break into the tow truck?
Yeah, he tried to break in our. He didn't try. He did. He actually used the key until he broke the lock and got in to try to start the truck. And my two employees had to tell him. I'm sorry, my two contractors had to tell him to get out of the vehicle before they called the police.
As he was explaining, when you look like a cop, you have to wear a bulletproof vest because somebody might shoot at you.
No, I would wear a bulletproof vest no matter if I look like a security guard or a cop or a crossing guard with a badge on.
Okay. Because the next question I have, and I'm not asking you anything that I didn't discuss with you there.
Sure.
But then why, if you want to look professionalism for just an escort company, you're not security, you have nothing. You're the only authority that you have to do these escorts is under the funeral home director.
Correct.
Then why doesn't the guy that works for the contractors, like for example I-4, the flag guys, why don't they wear uniforms with gun belts and vests?
I can't answer that, Sergeant.
Oh, I can.
Okay.
Because they're not pretending to be cops.
We're not pretending to be cops either, Sergeant.
Okay. I want you to look at this video.
Okay.
It's coming up here. Hang on one second. And this is of the middle kid. Not the one wearing the the yellow shirt. It was the other one. Not the one I arrested that day.
Photo.
Okay, yeah, photo. Is that what you call him?
Yeah.
He's got a bulletproof vest on.
Uh-huh.
He told me, and we can listen to him, that you make him wear this. That you
Oh, I make him wear that?
Yeah, that's what he
Photo
said.
said that? Can I record that?
No, here, I'll play it here.
I would
anyways.
like a copy of that.
Okay.
Here, just.
But anyway, Jeremy, on
That's
his
recorded,
shirt,
man.
it's got your Metro State.
Oh, that's true. I don't have to videotape. Go ahead, listen.
Metro State. Yeah, you can do a public records request and get this video. It's got your Metro State emblem, protection, and on his sleeve it says protection officer.
Right.
Officer.
Motor officer, protection officer. Yeah.
Officer. What is the
Yeah.
term officer?
Florida statute says we can't have police, constable, corrections officer, state
Officers.
agent. I'm just going off of what the
Okay.
Florida statute
Okay.
says.
So so you can't be anything. You can't have anything to do with public safety, basically.
Right.
And anything public safety. You can't have anything, basically resembling a law enforcement officer.
Right. That's
So-
why we have protection.
Protection,
Or vehicle
okay.
protection unit.
Would you say?
You don't do public safety stuff.
No.
Okay. So what?
When you say public safety stuff, what do you mean?
Well, public safety. The
That's
general public refers to public safety as law enforcement.
No, we don't do law enforcement.
Okay. No, you said public safety. Public safety is law enforcement.
Right.
That's our job.
Right.
Right. Your job is escort business.
Right. I agree.
Perfect. So when the guys are wearing these uniforms and they have public safety officer on their bulletproof vest, what's that going to lead the general public to believe? He's a cop.
No, it doesn't.
Or
say
he's a
police
security
officer.
It says public safety. Public safety is law enforcement.
I'll have that changed immediately.
Okay.
I'll have that changed immediately. I can promise you that, Sergeant. If that's an issue for you.
That's a huge issue.
I'll-
Well, that's
Um,
not. It's not an issue for us. It's an issue for this Florida state statute that says that's a personally a law enforcement officer. You don't have to take
say
actual
police
action.
officer.
Listen,
I'm listening.
read your statute again.
Yeah.
It does not say you have to take any kind of physical action. The mere presence, the mere appearance itself
While
can
performing.
constitute, while performing a function, can constitute impersonating a law enforcement officer. So, for example, you're running down the road, somebody pulls up behind you, and they see you have a blue light sitting in the back and a red light. They're not on, but you have a blue light and a red light. What would somebody assume that to be? Law enforcement officer.
Or it could be a contractor that builds out patrol vehicles.
Can't have that. It's illegal.
No, that's incorrect.
Okay. So,
Anyone that builds police vehicles or
Correct,
emergency
correct,
vehicles
correct.
are
can
you
have those
are you a
lights.
builder?
No, but we don't have red or blue lights.
Okay. So, if you see those, that in itself is enough to pull somebody over.
Okay. But we
And
don't
that
have,
in itself,
Corporal, but
now
we don't
if you
have red or
turn
blue.
on those lights, now you've taken an action. Let's say I'm zipping in and out of traffic, I just flash them one time and turn them off. That's all it takes
Okay,
for impersonating, right? Would you agree?
I agree. And
So
my
if
guys
you have
do
a
that, take
sign,
them.
if you have a sign
Uh-huh.
that says officer,
Uh-huh.
motor officer,
Sure.
anything like that, that right there is the same thing.
Okay.
This guy's on a motorcycle, says public safety officer.
No, he's not on a motorcycle, but I'm listening.
This guy's on a motorcycle, says public safety officer,
Mhm.
driving down the road.
Mhm.
This guy's in a car,
Correct.
driving down the road. He gets out at an intersection to stop traffic and turns around to get back in the car. People see public safety officer.
Okay.
They see the lights that could be confusing. They could think that they're red and blue,
Right.
whatever you want to call it. And so they assume that that person's a police officer. They have now taken an action that the normal, prudent person would not do.
I can assure you, I promise you that I will make sure that that panel's taken off.
Okay.
And that it says Metro State from this day forward.
There. So anyways, so what I'm going is here. Again, the purple or amber lights only fall under the statute with funeral escorts. That's
Right.
it.
Okay.
That's all you can do. Amber or
agree.
purple, that's it. Construction companies can use white and amber
Right.
only when, and if you pull my
In
history, you'll
construction,
see I write dump trucks all day long
Uh-huh.
for going down the highway with
With their
flashing
lights
lights.
on, right.
I write them all day long. There. You did this motorcycle charity ride, and I'm going to let you watch a video a couple Saturdays ago.
Uh-huh.
You're using the amber and purple lights,
Uh-huh.
the horns, the siren. Guys hanging out the truck.
Yeah. Don't get me started.
Under what authority did you do that? You can't have the purple lights because that's Department of Transportation. That's
Sure.
strictly for funerals.
Right.
Amber is you can use for like school buses and stuff like that. But you can't do an escort like that.
Can't stop traffic.
You can't stop traffic. These guys are passing within 100 feet of an intersection. They're improper lane usage. They ran a red light. They're doing all this stuff, but there's no authority because you fall under the funeral director. This isn't a funeral.
Correct.
So what makes you think you're capable of doing that?
You're right. At this point, Corporal, Sergeant, it doesn't seem like we're here to talk about the officer that hit me with his vehicle.
No,
At
we
this
already-
point, it feels like we're trying to bash Metro and
No, Jeremy.
on and on.
I'm
Jeremy.
trying to figure out.
the U.S. Marshals that hired us, along with the Orange County deputies that hired us, that are part of this club, that said, "Don't worry, we got you." So at this point,
They
I
said they had
no
you.
longer can continue
Okay.
to talk about this conversation.
No, that's fine, Jeremy. What I was talking about.
Sergeant,
No,
I
no.
really do like you guys.
No,
I'm trying.
Jeremy,
to do the
can I
right
speak a
thing.
second? We made it clear that when he was done, you and I talked about this, that we were going to go over state statute and show you where you had to be for 2019.
Okay,
That's all we're doing here.
done that, Sergeant.
Okay.
Listen, what we're trying to do is show you. This is somebody who called in a complaint to the sheriff's office
This one
about your
here.
behavior, about the way your company was running. I don't even know if you were there that day or not. Okay.
I was not, but
Okay. So, but what I'm trying to point out is that
when I heard about the guy hanging out the window,
I gotta
I
use the
immediately suspended the guy that allowed him to do that, which was the film guy for this police company.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's neither here nor there.
So what the point I'm trying to make is that's where we're at now. Is we're trying to say, look, we're putting all of our cards out on the table, showing
Sure.
you what's going on, and that we have to make some changes if you want to continue operating the way you are. Because if not, it's not going to work.
I got you, sir.
You understand? Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
So I mean, when you see this, we have to figure out what makes you think you can legally do that, and you know you can't.
Right.
We've had this discussion from other escorts you've done
Mhm.
that are very similar or the
So,
same.
Corporal, let me ask you a question. I hear what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. However, the judges agree with what we're doing and say that
They
it's
agree
okay.
with this?
They actually have. because we've
With
been
this right
written
here, they've
before.
agreed?
With the charity event, yes. So I have one question. When because I'm not going to say names, but when it's supervisors, I have the general liability and the insurance for the vehicles and blah blah blah. But we've never had.
All of your vehicles are.
Hang on one second. You got insurance on your vehicles, correct?
That is correct.
I've called the insurance company on all your vehicles.
Okay.
And that your vehicles are registered under personal use with the drivers of just you and your wife. I talked to, I can pull up the insurance companies.
Okay.
The two vehicles you presented yesterday, the insurance card to the deputy yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
I just talked to that company this morning, and your wife is actually the only authorized driver for those two vehicles, and they're insured as personal use vehicles.
They are short in for
Right.
personal
Yeah, I've
insurance.
sent the videos to your insurance company
Oh,
about
okay.
they're all marked up
Great.
Metro State and everything.
Thank you.
Which is insurance fraud. I'll be point blank with you. It's misrepresentation of auto insurance. Okay. I called the insurance company on the Tahoe that you have. Same thing. The other vehicles are also insured personal use. They're not insured for a company.
Okay.
Jeremy, and the reason I'm telling you this is every time you and I have talked,
Sure, sir.
you keep telling me you want to run a legitimate company.
Right.
That's what you tell me.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm trying to help you.
That's what I
run.
just explained. We're not in here trying to badger him. We're showing him everything we have so that he knows
Right.
that
Where you
we're
got
trying to
it
help
from?
him get on the right path to do the right thing.
Okay.
I forgot to do this, Jeremy. Just one second.
Sure.
I was going to explain when we were talking about Florida State statute. I was going to show you how a funeral procession actually should be run to be legal
Sure.
within the state of Florida and per statute. So if you're running your funeral procession, you have your lead vehicle, and then you have everybody that's in the procession.
Correct.
Okay. The way state statute says, if you want to put 3, 4, 5 bikes behind you, okay, they're running in line with the procession.
Sure.
Nobody's jumping ahead like we've seen you do and grab lights down the road. Okay, you can't do that. You all stay in the line. If you come up to this light and it's red, then you as the lead vehicle have to stop.
Stop. Sure.
Correct. Then you proceed. If you want to take that second bike, and we don't have an issue with this, take that second bike out, depending on the length of that funeral. If it's just 2 or 3 cars, you know
Right,
you're going
we
to make
don't.
it through.
Right.
But anyways, he can hold that intersection for you, and the lead vehicle continues on.
Okay.
Now, when the end of that procession comes through that traffic light, this bike has to get behind the procession.
Okay.
It can pass under normal,
2-lane road. Right.
Conditions.
I mean, a 4-lane road. Right.
okay, without lights.
Okay.
Cannot have flashing lights because then it's outside the procession.
Sure.
If it is a double yellow line, It cannot go out and zip down and pass all the bikes.
I totally agree with you.
Okay. So basically what it then does is now you got 3 bikes up here and you got him back here, and until you come into a legitimate passing zone, under
Right.
normal conditions, he can pass and get back into your procession.
Correct.
Otherwise,
the speed limit.
yeah.
Cannot violate
Okay.
each other's laws.
So then the next light you come up to, let's say it is green and you're the lead vehicle, you come up into it, you through, your next bike in line behind you would pull out and hold that light.
Correct.
And then fall in back behind and stay behind until he can pass under normal conditions.
Okay.
Okay? And the reason I'm telling you that is because, like I told you, I want to get you, how many times have I told you, you've got a great concept, great company, you've got a need in Central Florida.
I agree, Sergeant.
But we want to get you in everywhere legal.
Okay.
Insurance, liability insurance, workers' comp, the vehicle's properly
We're
insured.
not stopping the black and white car company with green and amber lights.
Listen,
Listen,
we're talking about you
today, not
the black and white company with amber lights, I looked into that.
Green and amber.
You're green.
Right.
They are a licensed security company. And by state law,
Uh-huh.
a security company is authorized to use green.
I agree, but not off the property that they're working.
They can go up to 1 mile.
They can
on
go
the
out
property
1
that they're
mile
working.
outside of the
Right.
property they're working.
They can't do from
But we're not talking about them,
downtown
what they do.
Orlando to Woodlawn, which is way more than 1 mile.
Right.
Well, if they're doing an escort, they can.
How?
Because under the security, they're providing a security service. Remember what I was
But
telling
it's
you.
not a contract.
If they have a contract with the funeral home,
But they don't.
well, I don't know that.
Right.
You don't know that.
Okay.
I just went to your funeral home, and they don't have any contract.
I agree. I agree. Yeah,
So-
because they just say, hey, we need you to
Right,
do an
right.
escort.
But what I'm saying is I looked at the company, and they are a licensed security company.
Of course.
So as long as they're operating under contract, you're right, they can do that
Okay.
legally.
Right.
Okay, now, if I go to the funeral home and there's no contract,
Well, I can assure you there's not, but
Yeah.
that's neither here nor
I
there.
know. Anyways, Jeremy, I
I'm
just
not
want to...
interested in bashing another company.
No,
I'm just
no.
trying to say that there's other companies out there doing the same thing, and because of who I am, it only seems like we're sitting in
You
a
keep
room
going
today.
beside who am I? Have I ever treated you different, Jeremy?
No, and that's what I said. You're very respectful, and so are you, Corporal.
I've
Stop
got
waiting
to
on-
run. I've got that meeting.
Alright, is it over there?
Yeah, across the hall.
Alright,
Um,
I'll be over there shortly.
Just let me know whenever you guys are going to get out a warrant for me. Just call me, and I'll
Jeremy.
come in and turn myself in. You don't have to make a scene.
It's not like
no,
that.
it's not like that,
promise
Jeremy.
you. I promise.
It's not that. Like I've said, and I mean it. You got a great company, great concept. We
You have a
just
great
got to get you.
concept. The company.
Yeah, the company. I should rephrase that. You got a great concept. We just got to get the company legitimate.
Right.
And that's once you're legitimate, I'll be waving to you.
All right, sorry.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thanks.
You want to close that? You don't interrupt anybody else's stuff going on. Thank you.
All right. You give me a second now.
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
No, I'm sure you're overwhelmed. A lot of stuff's been thrown at you.
No, I got a bunch of guys calling me for some reason.
Hopefully, Tony. Wait, so he broke into your truck, and you said something about ramming it. What happened there?
He hit me. Hey, what's up?
Hey, Nut, I was just calling you to ask you how you wanted me to lock the office, but I just got off the phone with ASAP, and I guess he told me to just leave it how it was when I got here.
Yeah, just leave it because, yep, we're done. So, all right? All right, thanks.
Oh, I took your bike.
Okay.
I don't know if you know about it, but the tire pressure sensor is on.
The tire pressure sensor on my motor?
Yeah, it's saying how many pounds of pressure you got in your tire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on. It said 33 and 30.
Okay. All right, I'll look at that.
I didn't know if you did or not.
Yeah, it should be at 35, but I'll look. All right, thanks. All right, bye. Anyways. So yeah, he broke into my tow truck. We didn't even start yet. And he said it was parked in the wrong place. So he broke into it and tried to move it. We have it on video. Called the sheriff's office. They didn't arrest him. Yesterday he hit me with his car. The officer talked to Sergeant Vidler. They didn't arrest him. He left the scene.
How did he? I have no knowledge about it. So how did he hit you?
Well, we're trying to get away from him. So we were moving to move stuff around. And he sat and waited. Sergeant Vidler and an officer from Sector 1 told him to leave us alone, quit following us, quit bugging us, let us move out. And he sat there and waited in his car all day. We finally left. He followed us, and I was like, oh, it looks like he's following us, so let's turn here. So we went down the street, did a U-turn, came back, there he was. Did the same thing. We did that twice. We made the left on Fairbanks, slowed down, pulled over to the side of the road. He stopped behind us. So now so then we stopped in Suicide, and we sat there for 3 minutes, and he pulled behind us and just sat there. And I was like, well, he's not going to stop, so we need to just get on the highway and try to see if we can get rid of him. And so as soon as we started to move, he shot up into oncoming, raced up around my cars, and then came at me with his car and brushed the side of my motorcycle.
Oh, he hit you on your bike?
Yeah. Well, one of my bikes, the older one, the training bike. But yeah.
But you were on it?
Yeah.
Riding it?
Yeah.
What a dummy.
And then he sped off and went after the truck that was leading. I guess he thought he was... So I told them to pull over into the shopping plaza. When they pulled into the shopping plaza, at that point we entered Winter Park jurisdiction. He stopped on Fairbanks in the middle of the road and just sat there. And all of our guys were in the parking lot. And he got out of his phone and he's videotaping us. And I'm like, what in the fuck? So anyways, it all started because I stayed at the same property forever and I should have never moved. Anyways.
Is that with a place about 441 or something?
Yeah, we finally moved to this new place. And he was like, oh yeah, this is great. But anyways. So we were only there 2 weeks. And I hear a woman scream. And I look over and he's holding her and shaking her. And I can't figure out what's going on because the detective won't talk to me. He's shaking her. She's like, let me go. He reaches down into her purse, takes an envelope out, tears it up. Whether he had the pen in his right hand or the pen was in the envelope, I don't know. All I do know is he had a pen. She's kind of batting him away because he has her up against the car and he's in front of her. So she's kind of like doing this to get away. And he rears back with the pen and goes to stab, arcs, and he misses, and he actually stabs himself in the arm. At this point, I was already running from across the field. I can see all of it in front of me, and I'm running that way. He sees me coming. He lets her go, and she runs to her car, gets in her car, and takes off.
Well, what car was he pushing her against? You said he was pushing her
It
against
was
car.
his car.
Uh-huh.
He's like a car dealer also, so he has multiple used cars there. About an hour goes by, and a unit shows up. And he's like, I need you to write a statement. I was like, why? And she's like, she described you saying that you saved her from what was happening. And I was like, listen, I even told him, I was like, we've only been here 2 weeks. If I write this, it's just going to go bad. And he's like, she's really shaken up. She's crying. I mean, blah, blah, blah. So I wrote the statement. And, nothing happened. And then all of a sudden, I'm assuming at that point his lawyer filed for discovery or something. And he called me, and he was like, I need you to tell me what happened. And I was like, well, who are you? And he identified himself. And then I said, well, I'm not interested in really talking. And he's like, well, if you're going to be a dick about it, I'm not, So I was like, okay, this conversation's done. And I hung up. A week later, I get a fake eviction notice saying that we didn't pay rent. And I've paid rent. I even have surveillance footage of him taking the checks. And
Well, if you have checks, that's all you need proof of.
Right, but I still have to put money in the court and this and that, and I just dumped a shit ton of money at the property, and now I have to pay money to get somewhere else, and I don't have money. So, I don't even have $500 to put in the court registry right now. So anyways, he's saying that we didn't pay rent. Then, in between all this, he had broken into it started to go downhill. He said he broke into the tow truck. I have video of it. I showed it to the deputy, and for some reason he wasn't arrested. I just know that if I did any of these things, or if I hit an off-duty officer with my car, I would have fucking been shot in the street. But, he this old man for some reason, and he's old. Oh, we forgot all about, he took my application for rent, took my address, came to my home, blocked my driveway with his truck, got out of his truck and threatened me and my wife. He's an old 70-year-old man, so I'm not threatened. But my wife was shaken up. We called OPD because I live in Orlando. And they're like, were you afraid? Did he have a weapon? And I'm like, no, but he still threatened us. So they just wrote a report about it. That's all. I don't even know if they wrote a report about it. They gave me a case number or an incident number.
If they gave you an incident number, it sounds like they took some type of notes.
Yeah. So it's just been ongoing. And
Sounds like you've had a bad year. Because I know about your Chicago thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you're still waiting to figure out what's going to happen with that.
Yeah. 2 of my sons died during birth.
In Chicago?
No, here.
This year?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry to hear that, man.
I can't fucking...
Now, are you having to go back to Chicago? So I know you're out on bond.
I don't know what's... I'm not on bond. I didn't get arrested. Everyone keeps saying that. I don't
You're
know.
out on a $1,500 bond, Jeremy.
I'm not on bond. I didn't do any kind of bond paperwork or anything. What? All I did was throw a fucking
arrested
chair.
25 June 2019 at 16... Getting old here. 16:59 hours. It says bond date 25 June 2019 at 22:38, and there was a $1,500 bond. The receipt number that they gave you was a 187600840, and you were released on your own recognizance.
Oh, that's why. Yeah. Okay, now I understand. I didn't have a bond. I didn't know. I just signed
$1,500.
I didn't pay anything. I just signed a document.
You paid something because they don't let you go unless you give the money. They gave you a receipt saying you gave them the money.
I swear to God, Corp, I didn't say.
Right there. What does that say?
I'm telling you the truth.
Does that say bond? Does it say bond?
It does.
Does it say you paid $1,500?
It does. I swear on my soul, I'll take a poly right now. I never, and I didn't see this. Hold on, what is this? Ag assault. What the fuck?
Let me see. I'll read it. They charge you. You know what they charge you with.
No, I was only told I was charged with
assault simple,
assault simple,
using a deadly weapon, and then criminal damage to property. What do you think? You think throwing chairs from the 4th story?
6th floor.
Well, I know. In his report, he says 6.
Yeah, what's funny too is he says that I threw it at him downstairs, and that's not true either. But for some reason, no one
threw it at
told
the
us.
Police?
No, him.
The tow truck driver?
Yeah.
Well, the tow truck driver says you threw it, and apparently, while you were throwing the last chair, the police officer witnessed you throw the last chair.
The officer did see me throw the chair. That is correct.
Yeah. So what do you think happens when something falls out of the sky, and if it hits somebody? You think that could kill them? 6 floors.
Here's wait. Here's the thing.
He says 4.
Well,
6 floors.
Corp, I'll tell you what happened, whether you care or not. We rented a hotel, which is like an Airbnb.
No, I read it says that you were there, that you had a rental car, and I guess you were upset because the rental car is being repoed.
He shows up in an unmarked truck. There's no lights, no stickers, no nothing.
Right.
He just gets out of the truck and he's going to the car. And I'm like, whoa. We even called the police saying somebody's stealing the car. So I
know, that's how they got there so fast to see
I know.
The last chair.
So I'm throwing the chair saying this guy's trying to steal our car. I don't know what's going on. I don't know he's a repo agent coming to repo a car from Enterprise Rental Car. Huh. I mean, all I know is I'm in Chicago. I'm there to pick up an ambulance for my business. I have 2 days to get there and drive home. Because if I don't, then technically I'm violating statute by not registering. So
is it only 2 days, really?
Or something like that. So all I know is some guy's trying to steal my truck. So I throw a chair to scare him away from the vehicle, and then I call 911, and then he's still trying to take the truck. So I throw another chair. Whatever.
I'm listening. God damn it.
It's what?
Sorry.
No, it's all right. I'm a criminal, so.
No, Jeremy, did you do your time?
Sergeant, our corporal. They would have fucking let anyone else go on that situation.
Okay,
that was bullshit.
The throwing of the chair was the problem. If you listen, a reasonable, prudent person would call the police like you did and wait for them to get there.
Right.
Had you just waited a couple of seconds, the cops would have caught them, and then you would have known exactly what was going on.
Right, but they weren't showing up, and
I know
this
that's
guy is
frustrating sometimes. It's frustrating, but you know.
And then he said, so he told the officers, I don't know if it's in the report because that's the first time I've seen that. He tells the officers that I said I'm going to shoot him. I'm like, with what fucking gun? I got it off an airplane. It's an impossibility. Anyways, you want to pull up the Windermere stuff now, Court?
What's the Windermere arrest?
Oh yeah, you got that? Because
No,
I mean, a 2-year-old could
I don't
write
have
a
that.
better statement than they wrote.
I'll be honest with you. I don't have it.
Yeah.
I have not read any of those statements.
I can let you read it.
What I do know about it is what I saw on the news. That was it.
Right.
Jeremy.
We're on a funeral escort, and
Please
Sergeant,
don't say-
what's
wait,
his name?
please
Who
don't
used to be a
say-
motor, by the
listen,
way.
Please don't say yeah, right, and the context of you think I'm making it up. Because I'm being completely truthful with you. I have not read any police report dealing with that situation. So I'm being completely honest with you. It has no bearing on what I'm doing here.
Right.
It has no bearing on what Sergeant Vidler's doing.
Right.
And it would be inappropriate that if we
No, but see, all of a sudden,
try to
ever since that
implicate that.
incident, now Sergeant Vidler's all of a sudden looking into us. I understand my guys bump lines sometimes, and I
Do
do
you know
them out.
why we're looking at you again?
Why?
Because you've gone from the extreme that you were before, where we've seen video, we've sat down and watched it, where your guys are running people off the road because they get into a funeral procession. Right. The very clear one was when I had you stop for the 2 hours you're talking about, when you had the motorcycle you bought, I think, out of Texas, and it wasn't registered, but you put a plate on it anyway, and we towed the bike. You remember that?
No,
You bought a police...
that was Ken. You didn't tow my motor.
Yeah, we did. We took your motor.
No, you didn't.
It
You
had
took
a
my
tag
baton, my mace.
No. That was that time. There was, on one of your escorts, your guy got further up ahead, and one of my guys that works for me stopped him. We ran the bike. It wasn't registered. It still came back to as a police.
Oh, the
police
Kawasaki.
motorcycle. I told you, Kawasaki.
Yeah.
Yes, remember?
I remember that.
Yeah.
But we had the registration.
No, you hadn't registered it yet, and you told us that. You thought you had, but you hadn't.
No,
And
I hadn't.
Remember when I
Because
told
when
you...
we went to the DMV, we were able to prove that
Remember when
they
I
didn't
told
put
you-
it through the system.
Yeah, but
or
remember when I
whatever
told
it
you
was.
about the tickets, and you said you've only ever lost one?
Right.
I knew that wasn't true because...
We didn't
multiple-
lose that one.
You did lose them.
No, we didn't.
Okay. So, anyway...
Because I was able to prove that the DMV did register it. They didn't
the
give
point
me...
here is
I'm
that-
listening.
I lost my train of thought there.
Sure,
Let
sure.
me get back on track here. The point of thought, the thing was that there's been complaints, and you saw the one video.
Mm.
So I mean, listen, I can tell you, if somebody was investigating you to do you in, all right, and they didn't want to do anything other than just to do you in, not help you, do you think they would take the time to sit here and talk to you and show you everything they have? When they rather like Chicago, just take you and let you figure it out on your own? Did Windermere share anything with you? They just arrested you, right? Did they share anything with you? I don't know. I'm asking you.
No, the sergeant jumped out of the vehicle and said my name and said, I miss you.
Okay.
Because
So-
he used to be an Orange County sergeant.
And who was it?
And I know his name, and I can't think of it right. I'm really bad with names. And I've had dealings with him. Sergeant... God, Jesus fucking Christ.
I don't even know who it is, so
It's,
that's why I have to ask you.
DeStefano. Sergeant DeStefano. Used to be a Pine Hills, Sector 3 sergeant.
Probably Sector 3 or Sector 1.
Yeah, he pulled me over a few times. Me and him have had dealings, and
Well, the point is,
anyways.
did they talk to you? Did they give you information?
No, they told me my motorcycle was stolen,
Okay.
but it wasn't.
So what we have done is we have given you the opportunity to come talk to us and try to figure out what's going on to get you back on track. When you see a video of you doing something that is clearly, that you know 100% is wrong, when you're doing these charity escorts and the way you do them, 100% wrong. And you know that, okay? When we see that and the public is calling in, this is a different administration. This is not the same administration that you dealt with before. So whatever leeway that administration gave you is over. That's done. Okay? And when they're seeing this and they're going, wait a second, Who are these people? And people calling in are saying, those are cops. No, you're not. And when you wear stuff that says public safety officer on the back, or it says motor officer, that right there tells people that you're law enforcement. All right? And so that's where we're at now. You have gone so extreme that you've drawn the attention again. And this new administration is not like the old one. They're not going to accept that type of behavior.
Mhm.
All right? The state's not going to accept that type of behavior, especially this times. You know, people are shooting people just because.
Right.
So here you are doing these type of things, stopping cars, directing cars to take certain actions, whether it be to turn, to clear a lane, whatever, and you're blocking lanes of travel, and people are like, I have a right to travel down this road. You're not a cop. You're not doing anything important to me.
Right.
So you're blocking me from going. You can't do that. And so people are getting upset, and they're calling in complaints. So then what do? They go, okay, well, what do we know about these guys?
Mhm.
That's how I got involved, because I've dealt with you since 2013, right? So we've known each other at least that long.
Sure.
So that's how I got involved, is they've come and said, what's going on? So I said, well, this is what we have on them. What happened? Why didn't we do anything before? These guys look like cops. They see the pictures. From 2014-15 till now, you really haven't changed much.
We look exactly the same.
No, you've actually gotten worse, because you used to not carry a gun. Now you carry something that resembles a gun, that projects. I'm telling you, it is so close to being a gun that it could go either way. If it went to a jury, it could go either way, because it projects a missile that can cause an injury. If you got hit in the eyeball with a pepper spray gun that shoots out a paintball size or smaller pepper spray, do you think that could take your eye out?
I can assume so, yes.
Yeah. So, and I don't need you to say yes or no, because we both know. The purpose of you wearing your uniforms the way you are is because you get more compliance out of the public while you're trying to perform the duty that you're doing. We know that. You don't have to say yes or no to it. I know it, you know it. You know?
Yeah, but we're not saying we're cops.
Doesn't
we're not
matter.
trying
Listen,
to
you don't have to.
impersonate.
Yeah, you don't have to say you are. If you wear that type of stuff, just to get that compliance, okay, that's what it is. We know it. You know it. And that's what I'm telling you. It's gone on long enough now, where it's so far gone now, where you have people calling in saying, "Hey, look, this cop. This is PSD. This is our professional standards division, right? They get complaints saying that one of your guys just did this." They're like, "One of our guys? None of our motor guys even working today.
Right.
So who is it?" So they start going and looking, because we got cameras everywhere. They start looking at all these cameras and they go, "Oh, that's Metro State." I get every time you all run a red light camera. I get the video,
We
because
don't run them before the funeral's entered them.
Yes, you do. And listen, he's not here right now because I gave him all the videos, but he's got a handful of videos that I've been given that shows you all entering in on an intersection with nothing coming and holding the intersection on a red light. You enter it, that's the only way the camera's going to record you, is if you go in on a red light. So it would be impossible. And then it could be seconds, minutes, or even longer. Here comes all of a sudden, the funeral procession. Okay? So I can tell you, you've not done it just with that, you've done it with dump trucks too. And you've escorted dump trucks, right?
Never.
Never? Didn't escort heavy equipment or anything like down the 408?
Never.
And close down all of 408?
For heavy equipment?
If it was for something you were escorting down 408, you close all the lanes.
Never.
Okay.
Never
So-
moved any equipment. Never.
Okay.
Never.
All right. It might have been a
I
charity.
would love to see the red light camera things so I can fix it. Just like I told Sergeant Vidler.
Listen,
can't.
This is
be-
how you
I-
fix it. Listen. Follow the statute.
But
You
you're telling-
lead.
right.
Listen to me. What he told you could do
Right.
is actually, in my opinion, is stepping outside the statute. However, to make things work for you so you can have a successful business, he's giving you a model that will pass the muster test, okay? He's telling you the exact same way we do it. You have a zero bike, which would be you, the lead of the funeral. The funeral director is saying, take my power of being the lead vehicle, Jeremy, you are now the lead vehicle.
Right.
Jeremy's up at the front. You got 5 guys behind you, staggered. 1 next to you, there are 4 behind you, right?
Right.
You say, we're coming up to an intersection. It's a green light. Go ahead and stop right there.
Right.
We're coming up to an intersection. It's a red light.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and
We slow down.
slow down and stop. We're going to stop. As soon as the light turns green, I need you, the guy next to you, to go ahead and take this and hold it.
Right.
He's going to fall to the back. If he can pass safely, he will. Otherwise, that's where he stays.
Right.
All right? He's telling you to do that. That, in itself, is not exactly what the statute says, but that would work. It would be safe. He's telling you can't have your lights on when you're passing all the vehicles trying to get back up to the front. If you're doing 25 miles an hour,
Mm-hmm.
and the speed limit is 35, 40, even if he does 45, he's still under the speed limit, under what the state law mandates. So if it's 40 and he's doing 45, he's still safe, and he catches up. Because these guys are moving 20, he's going to catch up pretty quick, jumps back in, waits for you to send him to the next place,
Right.
or to tell him to hold that position, right?
Right.
Not leapfrogging so far ahead that you're holding a light for 3 or 4 cycles. And on your incident with this deputy, that's what your witness said. The
Or
person-
I'll take a poly. That's bullshit.
I'm telling you, he gave listen to me. Basically everything you said, he said.
That's
As-
bullshit.
as the description he
We were
gave.
right at the light as it cycled. I watched the
You
car
weren't there.
go. I was back, but I watched the car go. He said the light's turning green. I'm pulling in now. It
Your
didn't
guy
cycle
pulled in,
3 or
the
4
light,
times.
The light was green
right.
for the opposite traffic. Your guy pulled in on a red light and stopped him. Not just that one witness said that. There's other people there
Oh,
that we didn't even get into.
all right. Cool.
Okay? We've talked to a lot of people with this. I went back and tracked down a lot of people. So you have your witness. I'm using him because he's your witness that you identified.
Yeah.
So he says, we sat there for 3 to 4 cycles before the funeral procession even came through. How did you know it was a funeral procession? Well, we didn't until we saw the hearse and the limo. And then it was like there was no cars, and then it was sporadic. They were spread out. And not all of them had their headlights on. A lot of them didn't. Nobody had their hazards on. Nobody had the flags. This is how this is your witness. This is how he's describing it.
Right.
He said that a vehicle came in, took the intersection, directed traffic out of the intersection. And I know exactly what you're doing because this is what we do, but we do it under the law of the state of Florida. You're holding that one lane so you can jump ahead and have a safe lane to travel in, but you're not legally able to do that. If they can get over there and go up and catch up to the front of the front of the funeral procession where you would be leading it, not jumping all through, you lead it, then that would be the being able to do it without impeding the flow of traffic, without them having to do anything illegal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you had 3 lanes there, so they could have done it. You can't pass a car in the same lane. So if you have a car in this single lane and you ride next to that car but you never cut over, you cannot pass a car in the same lane. Only 2 bikes or 1 car can occupy a space in a lane. That's it. So if you have 2 bikes next to each other, you can't have 3.
Right. No, I agree with that.
If you have a car in that lane, you can't have a motorcycle and a car in that lane.
Mhm.
It's 1.
Mhm.
And there's video of you passing.
Right. What the funeral
Within-
directors does tell them, because we can't get back to the front on a double yellow, so, and the judge, we've had a judge say, have the funeral directors instruct them to move so you can move between the funeral and the yellow line, which is what we do.
But
we
you
tell
know
them
what I
that
would
we're-
suggest you do then? Is to get that judge to have the state law changed. Because in the funeral, you're saying he's giving you the okay to do that. The only way he can do that is to change the law.
Right.
He can't say that the law does not apply to you.
Right.
The law is very clear on when you're doing escorts.
Mhm.
There's no confusing part about that.
Right.
All right? It's black and white. Nowhere to say you can occupy the same lane because you can't pass on. It doesn't tell you you can break one law so you can get ahead and avoid another.
I understand that.
So the only ones that says you can break, that you can not conform to is what it says, is following too closely, right?
Mhm.
And what is the other one?
We can continue through traffic control devices once it's legally entered.
That's it. And there's actually a third one, but they don't really mention it the same way. That's running with your hazards. You just can't run down the road with your hazards on, correct?
Right.
So basically, those are the only three things that it gives exception to.
Mhm.
And in all the intersections, is all it's saying is once you've entered it on a green light, or you have stopped at the stop sign, not pulled up to the stop sign, one of you guys holds it, and then you all start coming through.
Right.
Okay? You pull up to the stop sign, everybody comes to a stop, and then you proceed
Right. No, I understand that.
into the intersection,
Yeah.
and then you can continue flowing.
Right.
The point I'm making is that's not how you do it. You'll have somebody go ahead just a little bit, grab that intersection, and hold it so you can keep a good even flow.
Corp, I know for
And I'll
a
tell
fact
you,
on that.
if you
too.
have 98 cars
Mhm.
in a funeral procession and you only have 6 people, including
We're
yourself,
overbooked. Yes.
you're way over.
I
way
agree
over.
with you fully.
We wouldn't do that. We don't do that. That would be 40 of us to do that
I
safely.
agree. I
Safely.
understand that.
And not breaking any laws.
I agree. And I yelled at her for that. And I told her that we would never do that again. And the only reason why we're doing that
So
is
you know how
because...
you fix that?
What's that?
You break them up.
We
In
were
the
going to do
groups.
that. We were going to cut them off and break them
so
into
if you have
groups.
6 people, you have a lead and a tail.
Right.
You don't need to stop all the intersections.
Right.
Follow the traffic laws. Just go with the flow of traffic.
Right.
If you stay in the right-hand lane closest to the sidewalk,
Mhm.
because I know everybody's kind of confused earlier, it's not the left, in the right-hand lane, and you stay there. When it comes time to get over, then your guy on the tail, he could theoretically just move over, stop traffic so everybody can get over.
Right.
And then you all continue on, but you can't impede the flow of traffic so that no traffic can move. I've seen y'all do it. I just haven't been able to spin around to stop y'all.
Right.
Just like I saw your Ford pickup truck going down the 520 or the 408
Mhm.
a few months ago with all the lights on. I thought at first when I first saw it, I thought it was Winter Garden or a Coe. Whoever has a car that looks like it's a Coe. I thought it was them. I was like, what the hell are they going? Because you all were moving with all the lights on, and it was red and blue lights coming towards me.
Did
I
you
was
have a
heading
funeral?
east. There was nothing. It was just the truck. You were heading east. I was heading east. The truck was heading west. I couldn't. It was right downtown, so there was nowhere for me to whip around and come back after you.
When was
Otherwise,
that?
I would have.
No,
That's
no,
been a few
serious.
months ago.
Oh.
That's been a few months ago.
I fired a guy not too long ago for using his lights for no reason.
But do you see how that confuses people? You remember Victor Payne? He was a lieutenant here in Motors for a little
Oh,
bit.
yes. Mr.
His-
Lieutenant Payne, yes.
Okay. His first impression or dealings with you, because when he came into the unit, Lieutenant Gardner, Captain Gardner now, left. Lieutenant Payne came in, took his place. We briefed him on everything that was going on. And he was like, yeah, well, you know, whatever. His first dealing with you was he was working at a bank off duty.
Right.
He came
Pine
outside
Hills and
because he
Powers.
heard somebody yelling, and he thought something happened. He stepped outside, he saw one of your bikes,
Right.
your BMWs or Kawasaki, whatever it was. And he's like, oh, what's Seminole County doing over here?
Right.
This is Orange County. Saw the person, slapped the hood of the car because they were in a funeral procession, wouldn't get out.
Right.
Very similar to what we were talking about today, right? So he saw that. When he walked out, says, hey, what are you doing? The person got on their bike and took off. Okay?
Right, I remember that, and we took care of it.
Here is a lieutenant that's been a lieutenant. He's been with the sheriff's office for 20-some plus years at that time. And he thought you were a Seminole County deputy.
Mhm.
That is a professional law enforcement officer. SWAT guy, all that.
I know.
If anybody would know what a cop looks like, it'd be him,
Right.
right? Somebody like me, a cop who does this.
Right.
He thought you were Seminole County.
Mhm.
Do you not see the problem with that?
He thought we were Seminole County. He even told me because we have BMWs and no shitty escort company would have BMWs, he said. He
No.
was shocked.
He knew what kind of bikes you had. He thought you were Seminole County because Seminole County has bikes that look just like that.
Well, yeah.
That's what it was. Don't say because no.
We initially
shitty
got
company.
BMWs because we didn't want to get Harleys. That was the reason. I honestly, when I started the business, didn't even know Seminole County had BMWs.
But it doesn't matter.
Right.
The point being made is that your bikes and your uniforms resemble that of law enforcement so much that you have a seasoned deputy thinking that you are law enforcement.
Right.
And I've been telling you that since the first time we met. You all look like cops. Right?
Yes, yeah.
I mean, I wish Sergeant Riddler was here. I could show you the pictures that we've taken of you. You know, I've been there with you when we've taken them. So that's the issue. You got to change.
But at
the
the
way
end of
you
the day,
appear.
Corporal, do you believe we're impersonating police officers and acting like cops?
I
Or do you believe that we
listen.
might be just an overzealous escort company?
Uh,
Honestly, off the
I'm
record,
gonna tell
stop
you.
the recordings.
Don't have to. I'll tell you on recording. I believe, based on your appearance and your actions, it is reasonable for a prudent citizen to think you're a police officer. I have been approached by many people who said, these police officers, and then they describe me and I go, they're not police officers. Oh, yeah, they are. No, they're not. Because of actions.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean that you have to physically push your hand that way. When you turn on your lights
Mhm.
and you drive aggressively the way you do,
Mhm.
okay, that gives people the impression that you're law enforcement and you're trying to get somewhere in a hurry, or that you're taking command of that roadway. You don't have to give a verbal command. You keep thinking that that's what it is. You don't have to. It's just your mere presence, dressed the way you are. If you were on your bikes with all those fancy lights,
Right.
and you didn't have a gun belt on, and you didn't have the uniform on that you have on,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be harder to say you're a police officer. Because people look at it and go, that's just a guy on a motorcycle. He's got a bunch of flashing lights.
Mhm.
That's all it is.
Right, and then they wouldn't stay in the intersection. And they would just drive through the people that we're escorting and protecting.
Okay? If you're following the law the way you're supposed to and you stay close, they can't get through that intersection. And if you pull up and you stop that intersection, like Sergeant Midler said you could, right, as the procession's going through, what are they going to drive through? If they continue to drive through. So you just proved my point, you just said it, is that the reason you dress the way you do is because you get more, not respect, but you get more buy-in to what you're doing than if you're not dressed that way. You get more, what's the word I'm looking for? I said it earlier. Compliance based on the way you're dressed, because people can easily confuse you as a police officer. Not as a security company, because people don't listen to security companies. You know that. You've been a security officer, right?
Before my life changed, sure.
Right. So you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
You know, people buy in. If somebody sees a security officer here and they're arguing with him, the cops show up and the cop says enough, the person listens typically, right? And I know that that's what you're doing, right? You're trying to get that buy-in so that they give you the courtesy and
Not
the
courtesy.
yielding.
The extra 2 or 3 seconds of yielding is what
Okay.
we need for
But
safety.
if we just told you how to do it, and
Right.
we know it works,
Right.
because we do it for a living,
But
and
you're
it
running
works.
red, blue lights.
Listen,
Huge difference.
Listen,
Right.
on some funeral escorts, we don't. On some funeral escorts, we do not.
You're not running lights, but guess what? You're
We will-
dressed in a green uniform with a duty belt.
That's right. And you're proving my point even more. That's why you wear it. Because that
But we
emulates
wear
us.
our gray
So listen to
shirts.
what you're saying.
I'm listening.
You're saying, why would you think I'm a cop or pretending to be a cop? You just said yourself, me pulling into the intersection alone, dressed like this, tells people, even without the lights on, tells people with a duty belt that I'm a cop.
Or it tells somebody that you're doing a detail and you're escorting something.
But I'm a cop.
With a green uniform, yes, and that's why we stay away from the green uniforms. We could have blue shirts, we don't. We could have
That's not correct. That
green
day you
shirts.
did that at that funeral escort, you had somebody in a blue uniform.
Which funeral? We do wear our Class A blues when we do military, fire, or
You
police.
just recently did one, and Sergeant Vidler has the picture of it. I don't have it. Where you all are standing in a line, and one of your guys is wearing a blue uniform. As a matter of fact, he looks so much like a police officer that somebody that looked at the picture thought that was a police officer and is questioning why he was standing in next to you, knowing that you are a Metro State.
We were all in grays, but the one was in blue?
You had probably 1 or 2 guys in green,
Uh-huh.
gray, and then one guy who was standing in the middle of this picture in all blue. Short guy, too. Not very tall.
The car driver.
I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
So you, and it wasn't like a dress blue type.
No, he came from a dress blue escort and then came to help us.
Okay.
But yeah, I do know what you're talking about. Yes.
But do you see
And he's
now
a car driver.
But listen,
I
if he gets
understand.
out of the vehicle and standing there, he looks like a cop. He's got a gun belt on. Nobody wears a gun belt unless you're a cop. Security guards don't even wear the same type of gun belts we wear.
Sure they do. Have you seen PCI?
Well,
PCI
I can
looks-
tell you all the ones that I see here. that are out and about, and we're not talking about sitting in front of a building somewhere, that are out and about, moving around, don't wear uniforms like us. And that includes the gun belt, okay, the vest. They don't wear all that stuff. You know that stuff is a felony. If you're breaking the law to perform that duty that you're doing, and you're doing it with the vest on, that's a felony.
If you're committing a crime like robbing a bank or robbing something,
it's not just that. It's not just that. Here, I'll give you an example. So you're standing You're standing at an intersection.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody is coming through the intersection. You tell them not to.
Right.
You're standing there. Complete habit. Cops do it all the time. They stand there like this. They rest their hands on their belt. Okay? Rest it on their belt.
Sure.
It could be close to their gun. You're coming towards that person, or that person's coming towards you, and they don't know what you're doing. They don't know you to be a cop. And they see you, and they think, he's got his hand on his gun.
Right.
Doesn't mean you do.
Right.
But he sees your hands down there.
Sure.
Okay? So he thinks you got his hands on your gun, and he, whoever the driver is, thinks your hands on the gun and everything. They perceive that as a threat. Because now you're walking at him, yelling at him.
Right.
Could that be construed as an ag assault?
Yeah, sure.
Because you're not a police officer, right?
Right.
Okay, and you're not a security company.
Right.
You're not performing a specific duty that would require a firearm.
But we're not wearing firearms.
The general public doesn't know that. Your
Right.
gun looks like a real gun in your holster.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point I'm making.
Sure.
That's ag assault. And now you have that vest on. That's your felony.
Mm-hmm.
You giving any kind of direction to people to pull over or get out of your funeral procession, however you want to describe it, that's pulling over. Okay? Because you've already said, he had nowhere to go but to stop behind my vehicle. That's pulling a vehicle over. That's forcing them to come to a stop. Okay? That in itself is a crime. It's enhanced by you wearing the vest now to a felony.
Great. So I've admitted to committing a felony, so you guys are going to come and get me on that. Is
No,
what you're saying.
I'm not telling you that. I'm trying to tell you to stop doing this stuff. Listen, my job today is to educate you again and to make sure you understand again, and that there is no, maybe I misunderstood or whatever. You cannot do these escorts the way you've been doing them. You cannot do these community escorts at all. If you want to escort, you follow all the exact same traffic laws as everybody else. You can't hold an intersection. Can't do it. All right? Now, I know big police rides, big firefighter rides, big civilian rides. When they do these big rides, the chief of police come in and, they use law enforcement. They can do that because they have that power. But when you have these big motorcycle rides, okay, everybody, and nobody's going to deny it. Nobody's going to say anything. If you have 40 bikes in a group and they're coming up to a stop sign, they stop, and then the first bike goes and everybody follows and keeps going, I can pretty much guarantee you, and when I tell you I can pretty much guarantee you, me personally, okay, because I can't speak for every police officer or deputy sheriff or FHP trooper or whoever in the state of Florida, but I can pretty much tell you the common sense would say let them move on, because trying to get 40 bikes through piece by piece, even at 2 at a time, the congestion is going to drop. It's better to get them on out of the city, because normally they're just riding through a city to get to a back road.
Right.
Get them out. Nobody's going to say nothing. So if you had your bike in front and you had your hazards on riding down the road, just your hazards, okay, and then you had somebody in the back, even if you had a couple in the front and a couple in the back, and nobody's going to say nothing.
Right.
They're going to be like, hey, you know what? They're just making sure everybody sees them coming. Not all your flashing lights, just your hazards.
Mm-hmm.
Amber in the front, red in the back, or amber in the back, because that can be for the hazards, right? Turn signals, hazards. That's it. Nobody's going to say anything. All right? That's what Sergeant Villa was trying to tell you.
Right.
Your business model, okay, from what I've been brought up to speed on, between your bikes, your tow truck, and your ambulance, your whole ambulance thing,
If I can ever get it going.
I am telling you, those are brilliant. They're a needed service. They're brilliant. But when you don't follow the law, and you drive so much or attract so much attention to you, and you profess yourself to be something you're not by the way you present yourself, meaning uniform, motorcycle, and all that stuff, that right there will get you shut down so quick, because they're going, this guy's out of control. What is he doing? I mean, it's brilliant. I mean, the ambulance thing, that's brilliant.
But at the same time,
the tow truck thing, this is what I heard, and you can tell me, because I've heard a couple of different things, and I hope you're going to do it legally, but I've heard one thing that you're going to do, the tow truck thing where you're going and picking up cars. So if somebody buys a car online and they trade in a car, you go pick that car up and you
that's
tow
not.
it.
We don't even do that. We only do. Right now, we currently only do for insurance, where the insurance company says the car is totaled.
Oh, and you go get it?
That's it. And then we take it to the Copart. We don't even do roadside assistance or any of
Listen
that.
to me. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's something that's simple to incorporate into your business. The ambulance thing. I was told, like, moving patients back and forth from a nursing home or, like, going
Interfacility
for...
transport.
Yeah. That is brilliant. I mean, I know there's other companies out there that do it, but that's brilliant to get that little corner of the market because there's not enough of them.
Right.
So that's why I was telling you, your business plan is great. It's just how you're doing it and how you present yourself as, like, and we've talked about it, you've already said, kind of like a police officer. That's what's getting you in all this issue. That's why we're here.
All right.
So you got to get you on track, man.